My memories of you growing up as a youngster in London, you were a huge inspiration for me. You know, so you were not, you know, you were far from being a pacifist Muslim. You know, you were a true activist. So you're saying it was, you know, that happened slowly, or?
I think once I changed it, like so I had a sort of 2 years where I was sort of believed in Islam, but I wasn't really following it.
Right.
I wasn't praying. I was still doing all the sort of crazy things that I used to do. But I really believed. I knew the Quran was the truth. And I felt very uncomfortable with myself. It's like I spent all of these years looking for the truth, and then I found it. And but I'm not living according to, and that human beings generally, by the way, they find that really hard. Human beings generally want to be consistent.
Right.
You want your actions to be consistent with your beliefs. So when you're not acting according to what you believe, it's a very, very difficult place to be. And that's where I was. But alhamdulillah, once I did start praying, once I changed my life around, then I went into everything full on. It was like total commitment. And I think part of it is, to be honest, it was those 2 years where I realized that it's not, why do you want to be in some limbo? Why do you want to be in some place where you're not really a Muslim and you're sort of not there and you're not here? You believe in it, but you don't follow it. It's not a good place to be in. It's just actually, it is worse than what came before. Like before, I wouldn't say ignorance is bliss, but compared to the state of knowing what the truth is and not following it, then definitely ignorance is bliss, because you didn't know. But once you know and you don't act according to what you know, that's a very, very horrible, bad place to be in. So I think that when I started to practice Islam, I just went into it full. It was total commitment.
MashaAllah.
And even when I started to practice Islam, I went through some very deep and profound spiritual experiences that I get cemented my commitment to being Muslim. And then I think the other thing is that I don't know if every convert, revert, whatever the term you use, I know some people don't like this term revert, but every convert, and not everyone, but certainly a lot of converts, they do commit themselves quite strongly to following the religion, and they feel a strong commitment to telling others about Islam, because you know how bad it was coming from that place of darkness. And you do feel a sort of compulsion to sort of try and get everyone else out of it. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, and you feel that, it's almost a commitment you feel. So I think for me, it was very easy in my early days to get involved in Dawah. I went down to Speaker's Corner, then I started, giving Dawah to non-Muslims, and then people started asking me to come to their colleges and their universities to give Dawah. So your dad was on the circuit in those days as well. So I used to listen to his talks. We must have given talks together quite a few times. So that was what was going on, and soon I got invited to these talks, and that's how I sort of got involved really in the whole world of Dawah.
Yeah, mashallah. I mean, for a young Muslim minority like myself in London, faced with racism, you were a huge inspiration for me. Seeing someone coming to Islam, being so confident about their Islam, being able to vocalize, the concept was fantastic for me and for many of my friends. There's only a handful of inspirations. I'd say you were definitely one of them. May Allah bless you. And then you went sort of much further than Speaker's Corner. You've now founded AIRA, which is a very successful Dawah organization. What would you say are the challenges nowadays to the Dawah?
I don't think the challenges are that different. I think maybe how they present themselves is a little bit different. But I think honestly the real challenges are always issues over sincerity. That's one of the things. One of the things that is always going to be a challenge is the challenge of your own intentions, purifying your intentions, being sincere, trying to keep yourself sincere for the sake of Allah. Maybe in a way, I don't think it's more difficult now. I just think it's different. So, in the same way that it's very easy to become a personality, one of the things I realized back in the days, I thought, began to understand how easy it would be for someone to start a cult. It would be very easy to make yourself the center of everybody's attention. And so that's why you have to check your sincerity. It's not about you. You're not trying to create a cult around you as a personality. You're calling people to Allah. And of course, today with the internet, with people likes, with all the it's like, are you doing it for the likes, or are you doing it because this is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Sure. And there is obviously a tension between the two things. Like, you want to boost your post because you want to reach it as many people as possible.
Right.
So where do you draw the line between being sensationalist and creating, clickbait, for example, and then doing something that is sincerely for Allah? Do they necessarily contradict themselves? I don't think they do. It's about your intention. Like Muhammad Hijab, for example, I know in the past he said, I do this for clickbait. I do it. He says it straight up. I do it because I want people to watch my stuff. And that sort of honesty, you need to have that type of honesty. But the basic problem remains is that what are your intentions? Why are you doing what you do? It is very easy to transition from that to making yourself, to do it for yourself, to make it about you. And that, I think, is the eternal struggle for everybody anyway, whether it's the scholars of the past, are going to have confront exactly the same issue. There are scholars who had hundreds of thousands of people attending their lectures. Did they not struggle with their niyyah? Did they not struggle with their intention? So I think, I don't think the basic challenge is the same. It's just the way it manifests itself.